Home, Chapter 39, a Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction written and narrated by Mira Rose. Artwork by XAA. You can find a link to the artist in the description box. If you haven't already, don't forget to smash that like button and leave a comment in support of this channel. If you don't know what to comment to help the YouTube algorithm, you can put "Hello, Mr. Dupang." Now then, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and please enjoy Chapter 39 of Home. Marinette Dupang Chang. Not only had Marinette not known her boyfriend had plans to move out of his childhood home today, she also didn't know he was catsoridophobic. Shouldn't cats hunt cockroaches instead of being hunt by them? Also, she was pretty sure she'd seen him take care of a cockroach before. Was he only brave to them in front of her? "I'll bring by the sweatshirt you left here the other day," she said into the phone, pinching the bridge of her nose as she knit her eyebrows together and sighed. "Will Nino recognize the jeans, do you think?" "You mean the sweater you stole from me nearly 2 months ago?" Details. Would you like me to drop it off, or will you pick it up?" "I'll be there in a minute or two. Thanks, Bluebell." And there he was, donned in magical leather, rapping at her window like some German fairy tale. "Here," she said, holding out the sweater. "Don't I get a kiss first?" His ears did that droopy cat noir thing as he stuck his lips out, more of a pout than a kiss request. She gave him a peck, lip tingles included, and handed him the blue pullover. Little did she know she'd be getting another call from her newly adulting boyfriend less than an hour later. Hello?" she answered. Did they make plans? Shouldn't he be with Nino? Hi, could you maybe..." Adrian sounded out of breath. "Could you bring as many towels as you can and get here ASAP?" "What? Like dish towels or anything? Hurry!" His voice was distorted by what sounded like Nino falling. The line disconnected, leaving Marinette to stare at the black screen in confusion. Sighing, she went to the linen closet and grabbed a few body towels, transformed into her masked self, and took off. She'd texted him in the meantime for his address, and even though his reply back was garbled, she got the message. She landed in the back alley behind his apartment complex, taking the 4 steps up to what was the building's ground level. This wasn't a bad landing spot. She could de-transform here without any cameras seeing her. Good choice, Cat Noir. Good choice. "Babe?" The door was ajar, and although she could see the barren apartment through the crack, she couldn't tell where the incomprehensible yells were coming from. She brushed her knuckles against the door before letting herself in, only to feel a splash from beneath her feet. A splash? Water was trickling from under the door the grunts and shouts were coming from on the left. Oh, no. Marinette didn't know what happened, but one thing was for sure. Cats are no good with water. "Boys?" she said, opening the bathroom door. "Got 'em!" A pair of hands grabbed the towels from her before she could recognize them as Nino's. Here! Adrian said, his hands death-gripping a pipe in the wall. A broken pedestal lay beside him, its basin detached from it and instead clinging to whatever wall it could. "What are you..." Marinette began, observing the scene. She watched Nino wrap the towels around the pipe, probably not intending to tie Adrian's hands to it as well, but that was a consequence, and it worked for all of 10 seconds, where the 3 of them held their breath. And then it didn't work. Water started dripping from the towel as the young men's faces fell in dismay. Marinette, sighing, pulled out her phone. "Hey, Dad," she said when the line clicked. "Can you help me fix a broken sink?"
"Dad's coming,"
Adrian grunted, still pinned in a peculiar position under the hanging basin. Marinette walked over to the water heater, followed the pipe with her eye, and found the knob to turn. "Here." A twist later, the boy stared at her in awe.
"You know plumbing?"
Nino chirped. "I know how to turn off a water line. It's a basic life skill." Marinette didn't mention she learned it from trying to flush her Barbie doll heads down the toilet when she was 6. 12 minutes later, her dad was there, tool bag in hand, as he stared at the boys with thinly pursed lips and raised eyebrows.
"Hello, Mr. Dupang,"
Adrian said feebly.
"Hello, Mr. Dupang,"
Nino echoed. Tom stared at the room, sighed, and opened his bag. Marinette eyed the discarded pile of clothes on the floor next to the sink, the probable first line of failed defense. How had he broken the sink anyway? Old age? Or did Adrian not know his own strength? Nino got back to cleaning up the floors with the mop they borrowed from the neighbor as Adrian became a second pair of hands for her dad, which left Marinette to do nothing. She stepped out of the bathroom to walk around the flat. There wasn't furniture, and there wasn't much to walk around in, but she memorized the view from Adrian's small window and looked at the holes in the wall from where the last tenant had a TV. She turned her attention back to the grunts coming from the bathroom to see the men in her life trying to slide the pedestal underneath the damaged basin, stuffing a card from Adrian's wallet to fill the gap between them. Pragmatic, sure, but not a good long-term solution. Sighing, Marinette left on her own, knowing the conclusion they would come to in about 6 minutes and not wanting to stick around for it. Taking in the cooling September air, Marinette went to get her boyfriend an unplanned, but needed, housewarming present from the hardware store. She wouldn't be surprised if they duct taped the sink together by the time she got back. No, thank you. She might be dating a boy who was surely about to be very broke, but she refused to let him have duct tape appliances. 300 euros later, Marinette brought back a delivery ticket and a bag of, well, whatever, to her boyfriend's new home. Nino left in the meantime, leaving her dad and Adrian to chat a bit.
"Had I known Adrian was cat, I would have fattened him up even more,"
Tom boomed when she walked in. What? Marinette flipped into panic mode as her eyes went from Adrian to her father and back to Adrian.
"Boxers,"
Adrian half whispered, pointing to the pile of sopping wet clothes on the floor. Cat Noir boxers. Cat Noir boxers her dad ordered for Cat Noir last Christmas. Marinette couldn't believe it. Her dad figured it out? Her dad figured out Adrian was Cat Noir from a piece of clothing? When she spent literal years not knowing who he is despite having classes and superhero duties together? Well, that's one superhero identity down, Marinette tried to say calmly. She had to check something. Any idea who Ladybug is? If anyone figured out her identity but pretended not to, it'd be her parents, right?
"No idea. I can see why you find her so cute, though,"
Tom said, nudging Adrian in the ribs. Ha. Adrian gave a tight smile, still looking guilty from the identity reveal. You really figured out Adrian was Cat Noir in the half hour I was gone at the store? Marinette asked.
What did you buy?
Adrian changed the subject, looking at the receipt in her hands. A vanity, complete with a basin, drain pipes, and faucet.
Babe.
She could hear his throat tighten. It'll be here in about an hour.
Babe!
Adrian threw his arms around her.
I guess I'll just have to stick around then, won't I?
Tom asked, crossing his arms. Why are you in a Papa Bear pose? Marinette asked.
Sorry, I still think of Adrian as just a friend and not a boyfriend. I got defensive for Cat Noir's sake.
Marinette laughed as Adrian grinned sheepishly, running a hand through his hair. Well, how about you continue bonding with my boyfriend's face by grabbing us some food? I'll hold down the fort. Tom laughed harder, and Adrian shot her a thank you look before kissing her forehead. Like the whirlwind the day had become, the men left, leaving Marinette in Adrian's apartment. Smiling to herself, Marinette opened her bag of goodies and set to work, hoping he'd like the finished look. Marinette was going to turn this apartment into a home. Thank you so much for listening. Chapter 40 is on the way. If you haven't already, don't forget to smash that like button and hit the bell so you can stay up to date on the latest parts of not only this fanfiction, but all of the fanfiction I produce. Woohoo! And if you haven't already, go ahead and leave a comment. If you don't know what to comment, put home. I will catch you in the next one. Bye!